For those select few that are already initiated, you should already know what this is. And for those of you that aren't, just chill. So we're going to get to the other stuff in a minute, but what I'm always trying to get everybody to understand is everything is vibration. So, vibe. That time for you to open up your ears and let me crawl into your mind one time. And you just might like it because knowledge is power, and I'm extremely knowledgeable. And I know you think you hear me right now, but it ain't that. And although I know I present an awesome visionary experience, you really can't see me either. You gotta feel me, baby. I am that Jones in your bones. I am that primordial part of yourself that really just wants to get to know you a little bit better. So, who better than me to introduce you to your intricacies? While we here, let me give some special love to all my Pisces moons out there, because I'm doing it for us. And if you got Mars in Capricorn, don't trip. I'm doing it for us too. I'm unfuckwittable. That's my name this next year in 2022, Mr. Unfuckwittable. What it was, y'all. Y'all already know who it is, and y'all tuned in with priceless knowledge of self, and this right here, this ain't nothing but some cosmic insight. And what this also is our last and final installment in our introduction to the major aspects of our natal chart. And when I said major aspects, I mean major aspects. That means I'm not talking about quintiles or biquintiles or sesquadrats or semisquares or semisextiles. No, I'm talking about conjunctions, oppositions, trines, squares, sextiles, and inconjunctions or quincunxes, which is what inconjunctions are also referred to. All right. And I'm also not talking about the patterns in our chart, which is what the YODs, kites, Star of Davids, and grand trines and all that is all about. We'll talk about that later. First, we're going to take care of the basics. You feel me? And so we done already talked about conjunctions and oppositions. We done already talked about trines and squares. So this time, this right here, this a little something about the sextiles and inconjunctions we have going on in our chart. And also understand that inconjunctions and quincunxes are the same thing. Inconjunctions is just more the traditional term, and that's what I like to use. You know, I'm a classic man. And I know I usually do a whole little monologue first and a whole little soliloquy, but nah. See, these aspects, they ain't gonna play with you. And so I ain't finna play with you either. We're gonna get right down to business. You dig? So when it comes to the sextile aspect of the chart, this goes down when two planets or astrological points fall 2 signs apart, or more specifically, when they come into the close proximity of a 60-degree angle to each other. And hey, this one right here is definitely viewed as one of the more beneficial aspects to see occurring in the chart, because it typically represents a significantly easy flow of opportunities that, when acted upon, and I do stress, when acted upon, can really help us realize our full potentials in the areas of life involved with the sextile going on. All right. For instance, I myself have Mars at 21 degrees of Capricorn in my 4th house. And I also have Jupiter at 22 degrees of Pisces in my 6th house. All right. And hey, that's a sextile right there. And that right there directly points to what I do right here with y'all. And it really also points to the tremendous amount of content that I've been able to put out in such a small amount of time. You can't forget that this channel right here has only been up for a year, y'all. And we done dropped over 300 something videos, maybe even 400 by now. And hey man, we done covered almost all of the traditional astrological placements right here in tropical astrology, at least. All right. So that right there is a true testament to what the sextile can do for you when you activate it. But before I decided I was going to do my own thing and start doing this for y'all, I was kind of just lost in translation. And the sextile can do that too. All right. See, this one is interesting because while it's definitely viewed as one of the more positive aspects by traditional astrologers, it's still not necessarily dynamic, which is where it kind of differs from the trine, because the sextile is kind of significantly more passive. And a lot of the times it doesn't automatically bring in epithets for anything to happen at all whatsoever, because sometimes people get complacent and they fail to notice all the natural talents and gifts that they have. And hey, man, that's kind of what this aspect is all about right here. Because when they do notice, hey, man, then these motherfuckers can get real cocky with it too. Okay. Because with sextiles, man, shit just kind of comes easy where they appear. And that's kind of due to the fact that the energy of both the planets or points involved kind of come naturally to them both ways. All right. They really got it like that. That's the thing about the sextile. So the best way to characterize this aspect is to say that, there just really isn't any friction between these two energies involved. And the reason that it's regarded as so positive is because it really doesn't disrupt anything. It doesn't cause any trouble. All right. But there's actually a lot more to it than that, because if you can just activate this sextile right here, man, hey, man, then you can really find some hidden gems of talent and opportunities that, hey, you might have even ignored before. That's real. And I've also seen that people that have a lot of sextiles, hey, they're usually activated by a quincunx in their chart, but that doesn't have to be the case. All right. And we're going to talk about quincunxes here in a minute. So just remember that. And, like I said, it's not definitive. And either way it goes, man, this is about the adjustment, acknowledgement, and empowerment that this sextile causes in your life right here. All right. And sextiles are all about working with two energies that at the surface seem to, might not probably work well together. But through integration, they can really actually help us realize and utilize some of our greatest natural talents. And that's the beauty of it right here with that. All right. However, you can't ever forget that it's not hard to miss the blessing of the sextile with this. All right. So awareness and accountability are key. And another way to see the sextiles in the chart is to really just look for the coupling of the powers that carry that same energetic signature, all right, as one another, or the same gender as each other. All right. So when you're looking in your chart, you can look at the sextiles by looking at the gender of the signs. For instance, Libra is sextile to Sagittarius, Aquarius, and Leo, whereas Aquarius is sextile to Aries, who's sextile to Gemini, who's sextile to Leo. All right. And then there's Capricorn, who's sextile to Pisces and Scorpio, while Scorpio is sextile to Virgo, who's sextile to Cancer, while Cancer is sextile to Taurus, who in turn is sextile to Pisces. All right. So just remember that right there. So it usually goes that the masculine signs, when they're in the right proximity, are sextile to each other, and the feminine signs are sextile to each other. Just remember that. All right. Now, when it comes to the inconjunction or the quincunxes in our chart, these are really interesting right here, man. And this one right here happens when two or more planets or astrological points fall 5 signs or houses apart, or more specifically, when they come into the immediate proximity of an 150-degree angle to each other. And hey, man, while it's typically viewed as a negative or harsh aspect, I really like to look at it as more of a growth aspect, because more than anything else, what this does is call for continuous adjustments, which ain't necessarily a negative thing. Yet the strain that it creates can really be stressful, because in a lot lot of ways, it really affects our health, our confidence, and our well-being due to the situations that are kind of forced on a person and the self-neglect that comes on at certain points of life. All right. Just remember that. And, for instance, I have one of these too. My sun is at 4 degrees of Cancer in my natal chart in my 9th house. And then I have my Saturn at 4 degrees of Sagittarius in my 2nd house. And that's an inconjunction. That's a quincunx. And that directly points to my struggle with faith that I've had my whole life, man. And it also points to, my dad's absence in my life or his inadequacy, just to say the least, because he was there sometimes, but even in him being there, he wasn't much of a father. All right. And, and it also speaks to the way that that's kind of directly affected the way that I value myself. But the key words there are value myself. And see, that's where that inconjunction comes into play. Okay. Because that's where it's letting me know that I have to get past that and just learn to value myself, because the past is the past. And so through time and work, I slowly start to grow with that. See, the purpose of this aspect right here is to really bring about the self-transformation on the only level that it can truly occur, which is from the inside out. All right. See, the crazy thing about the quincunx or the inconjunction is the fact that all the astrological energies involved with this one have absolutely nothing in common, because they're typically going to not share any elements, modalities, or traits whatsoever with the quincunx or the inconjunction. So multitasking and being versatile is really going to be the only way to be able to get shit to work in unison with this one, y'all. All right. This is an Aztec. Pardon me. I'm not talking about natives. I'm talking about aspects. This right here is an aspect where people have to learn to serve two masters at once without compromising our inner dignity. Because, if you can't do that, there's going to be a point where this energy gets too scattered and strained, which causes frustration, which only prevents growth and then causes conflict, which in turn also causes the energy to get even more fucked up, produces more frustration, and it ignites a vicious cycle that shit can be abysmal, y'all. For real. That shit can get abysmal real motherfucking fast. So this one right here is just going to take constant checking of the energy and continual adjustment of attitude in order to integrate. But it ain't impossible at all. Understand that. So just do it. And so to clarify this a little bit, I'm going to tell y'all which sign is inconjunct to each sign right here. All right. Or which sign is quincunx to each sign right here. All right. So Aries is quincunx to Virgo and Scorpio. Okay. Taurus is quincunx to Libra and Sagittarius. Gemini is quincunx to Scorpio and Capricorn. Cancer is quincunx to Sagittarius and Aquarius. Leo is quincunx to Capricorn and Pisces. Virgo is quincunx to Aquarius and Aries. Libra is quincunx to Pisces and Taurus. All right. Scorpio is quincunx to Aries and Gemini. Sagittarius is quincunx to Taurus and Cancer. Capricorn is quincunx or inconjunct to Gemini and Leo. Aquarius is quincunx to Cancer and Virgo. And Pisces is quincunx to Leo and Libra. All right. And just remember, it really don't matter what you have inconjunct or quincunx to what. It doesn't matter what you have sextile to what. It doesn't matter what you have trine to what. It doesn't matter what you have opposite to what. It doesn't matter what you have conjunct to what. You aren't your aspects. You aren't your chart. All right. And this is coming from an astrologer. These are all intricacies that make up of you. All right. So if you see you have a couple of squares in your chart or you have a couple of inconjunctions in your chart, don't let it dishearten you. Work on that shit because there's power to come from it. All right. That's why I'm always trying to tell y'all, just because you built like that, you don't have to build like that. What that means is it doesn't matter what you have going on. We all have all this energy available to us. What you do with it is what you do with it. And even beyond that, it's not about what you do. It's about how you do it. And that's some priceless knowledge in itself. And there's been some priceless knowledge of self, man. Just because you came up in the gutter doesn't mean you have to build your house there. All right? It ain't never too late to stop being a bitch. You can always decide right now, from this point forth, I'm going to keep it played at all times. I do. Hey, man, this is the time y'all should be hitting the like button. Really, y'all should have hit it already, but that's all right if you haven't. You can make up for it by doing it now. And understand that it's not for my ego. I don't need anything to stroke that. It's for the algorithm. I need interaction. YouTube is about interaction. So hit the like button, hit the dislike button, shoot me a comment, tell me what's cracking. You know what I'm saying? Ask me a question, do whatever it is, man. YouTube is about interaction. Help me explain this platform. Get out to as many people as we can. Just smile too in the process, man. If you're interested in any astrological readings whatsoever, you could hit me up in the comments below, but then I just direct you to my email, which is mr.turner1300@gmail.com. All right? And that's the place to get me at. And I thank everybody for all the love and support. Y'all keep it real till next time. Keep it played at all times. And remember that this type of swag right here, it's got to be in you and not on you. So let me put it in you.